Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to start and stop an activity on the Aurafit Trek 1, and then we're also going to look at what does it look like when you're done with an activity and you've got it recorded and you go review that activity. Just a reminder, this is a $89 smartwatch, so keep that in context when you're watching the features of this. For $89, I think it does a great job. So let's talk about the basics of how to start and stop an activity. You simply press any of the buttons to turn on the watch, or at least your display. If you press the middle button, that will take you to your activity listings or your app listings, and if you go down, you will see an app called Sports. You could go this way and simply go to your apps, click on Sports. That's what it would look like. The easiest way to do it is from your main watch face, simply press the mode button. The mode button will always just take you directly into your sports. You can see in my case, I've got walking, I've got tennis, I've got running, and then down at the bottom, you've got personalization. You can customize this any way you want to. I've done a video in the past that shows that. This watch has every activity that you could think of to put on the display here for you to be able to do. Let's just choose one of them. Tennis, for example. You'll notice when I clicked it, there's a countdown and my activity has begun. There's no start, stop, waiting, any of that stuff. The reason is because tennis does not have a GPS that it needs to connect to. You cannot pick and choose to use GPS or not use GPS. It's basically predefined on this watch. There's a couple of different screens that you can go through to look at data while you're doing the activity. This screen will be the screen that's always going to be on when you're in an activity. So I can't go to my barometer or altimeter. I have to stay in the activity screen. When I'm done, I can simply press the middle button. It takes me to this screen. The middle button is basically going to be your pause and your stop button. I could resume, and then again, press the middle button, and I can stop. You'll get this message if the activity is too short to be recorded, which this one was for me, so I'm simply going to just say, okay, and now I'm done with the activity. So that's an example of a non-GPS activity. If you're somebody who wants to play tennis and have a GPS recording, unfortunately, you cannot do it on this watch. But let's pick a different activity. I'm going to press the mode button, and let's say we're going to go for a walk. You'll notice this time it's a little bit different because it's locating the GPS. You can see your GPS signal over here. You've got your heart rate information. It's not showing anything because I'm not wearing the watch. I'm sitting inside, GPS connected pretty quickly, and then it simply says tap to start, and we're going to click it, and we're going to see the exact same thing we saw before. So really the only difference is, does the watch need to connect to GPS or not? You don't have to wait for it to connect to GPS, but if you try and start the activity without it, you'll just basically get a warning that says, hey, it doesn't have any GPS information. Do you want to continue or not? Again, I'm going to press the middle button, and I'm going to stop the activity once I'm done. When you're done, let's say the activity was long enough that it was able to record. When you press stop and save it, it'll actually give you a screen that shows you the details of that activity. In my case, it's telling me that the exercise was too short, so it doesn't have anything to show me. It's not going to record it. So that's the basics of starting and stopping an activity. Now, when it's done, how do you go look at the activity? Again, I'm going to press the middle button on the watch, and I'm going to go down to record. This is going to be where all of your saved activities are located at. So these are some different activities I've done. We've got a tennis activity, and then we've got a walking activity. This is the same screen that you'll see at the end of an activity when you stop it. It'll display this information on your watch, and then when you clear it, it'll save it under the Record app. You can see the date and the time, and then you can see some analytics about that activity. What was my heart rate information, step information. What I love about this watch is it tracks steps per activity. So when I was playing tennis, I had 1,300 steps. That's not my steps for the whole day. That's just my steps within that given activity. And then calories burned. So that's what it shows for the tennis activity. Now let's go look at the walking activity. It's kind of the same thing, but it has some different analytics because it's a different sport. So for example, we can get down and we can see pace information. Again, steps. Same day, different activity. This activity I had 4774 steps. And then you can also see a visual of your map on the watch. Again, because this activity used GPS, so I've got the map information, whereas on the tennis activity, I did not have this screen. So that's how you look at it on the watch. Pretty slick. Now let's go look at it in the app on our cell phone. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm on my iPhone. We're going to be using the Aurafit app. This is a totally free app. Everything you're seeing here is totally free. It comes with the watch. I am an Apple user, so we're going to be viewing it as an Apple user. Now, when you go in up top, you're going to see your stat information for the given day. I just put my watch on, so I don't have a whole lot of steps to show you. But for the day, I've got 290 steps, 0.1 mile, and I've burned 3 calories. For this video, we're just looking at the activity information. You'll notice in the middle, it shows tennis. It'll always show the last activity that you recorded. This is the same thing we saw on my watch. I can simply click on that and I can view that activity. You'll notice up top I can delete it or I can share it. Maybe you want to share this information with somebody else or you want to download this information. You could do that. Again, the tennis activity did not have GPS, so what we're seeing is basically just some analytics about the workout. You can see my heart rate information, my heart rate zones, step frequency, and then at the bottom, you've got a training experience. This is similar to what Sunto does if you've ever had a Sunto watch, where when you do an activity, you can basically rank how'd you feel after the activity or during the activity. So that's the tennis activity we just saw. If I go back, you'll see there's an option for see more sports. When you click on that, it's the same thing as what we saw when we went under the record app on our watch. There's my tennis activity, there's my walking activity. If I click on the walking activity, it's considerably different because you've got a map up top because it had GPS. If I scroll down, we can still see some analytics about the walking activity, pace information, time information, heart rate zones. A lot of detail. Let's go back up and let's look at the map. The map, you can zoom in. Got street information, location information. You can also change the view of the map. Again, pretty similar to other watches. We could download the GPX file if you wanted to get that GPS information. I can click on the flag and that will show my mile markers. You can see where mile number 1 ended and where mile number 2 ended. You'll notice this option at the bottom that says dynamic trajectory. If I click on that, that's where we can get a play of my activity. And again, all of this we could share, we could download. It's going to be saved in your app. Works really well. Again, if you're somebody that's on a budget, you're looking for an inexpensive smartwatch that'll give you notifications, let you do activities, save your information, save your GPS information. I think this watch does a pretty good job. As always, I hope the video helped. If it did, thumbs up or appreciated. Thanks for watching.